Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the show. And today we have got lots in stock for you today. Um, First of all, I have to apologize for the lack of content in the last few weeks. I know I am terrible at this, and I'm really wanting to give it a try. And it's just like, why am I so bad at this? But I've been focusing on music videos. I don't know if you've seen my YouTube channel. Doing conducting videos. What the people that know me, I've been doing conducting videos on stuff that music that I'm really like, music I'm really interested. And then it got to the start of December, and I was like, you know what? Let's do a musical advent calendar about conducting. So I'm making fun with it. We are on this is day 9. And yeah, pretty much enjoying it. We're taking some from film music, taking some from a more traditional stuff, more orchestral works, well-known Christmas music that, and giving a little bit of sort of educational pointers that you can hear on what the conductor is aiming to do. I'm attempting it. I'm doing it very badly, I think, in my own eyes, but I'm finding it funny just to watch myself conduct. But hope you're enjoying them. But the big thing that I've wanted to been doing is longer form videos. I just haven't been getting around to them. Now, the last video I did was an interview with Jamie McBrearty, my coach. And yeah, it was a great one. Little debrief on that. I feel like it really hit me hard. And actually, it's been a whirlwind since. And one of the big things that Jamie has been getting me to think about is, and I know this sounds really basic, but it's, what do you want? What do you want? And for some reason, I have been very vague with that. And it's been felt like I've been sifting through things. I've went, well, I want to do this. I want to do coaching. I want to go traveling. I want to buy a place. Well, I've done that one. I want to go to Australia. I want to live in St Andrews. I want to maybe go to London, do music, write a musical, and it's like way too much stuff there. Like, what do you actually want? And I don't know. Well, over the weekend, I decided, look, get all apps deleted. I'd taken them back on again. I was like, get the social media apps on, because as soon as you start scrolling, your mind starts whirring like you're on a hamster wheel. So I deleted them at the weekend. And out of the pure intention of trying to figure out, what do I want? And well, for years, I would always say, I want to live in St Andrews and I want to be able to walk and golf on the old course. And that was it. Okay. How I got there, I had no idea. Now, well, part of this course I'm doing with Bob Proctor is like, you don't need to know how you're going to get there as long as you've got this direction. Well, that's what I've got so far. And well, I feel like I'm good at talking. And albeit how undisciplined I am at doing it. In real life, I can talk all the time. But this coincided with a few things. Last week was the end of November. On the 28th, 29th, the 30th? 29th, it must have been. No, it would have been the 30th. The 30th of November was St. Andrew's Day. No, it must have been the 29th. Anyway, one of the days, the Sunday of that weekend, I went to St. Andrews for a little walk because it was the end of the weekend. And usually on St. Andrew's Day, and for those who don't know who St. Andrew was, he was the patron saint of Scotland. Okay. Andrew, one of the disciples, he's the patron saint. And in Scotland, it's usually a doors open day. Now, this is a culture in the UK, and on St. Andrew's Day, doors open day just means basically like museums, not private entities, but maybe like art galleries or swimming pools owned by the council or the state, they would be open for free on that specific day. And one of the things that St Andrews does. There's like the St Andrews Heritage Museum. It opens its doors. It's usually ticketed, but its doors open day, so you can go in for free. And well, the R&A, those golf lovers, the R&A own the big famous building behind the 18th green at St Andrews. The clubhouse is open on St Andrews Day. They do it not every year, but some years they open out. Usually it's like one every 2 years or 5 years. But this year it was open. And walked past it, the doors open. Great. And you go in, and I'm like, right in front of you is the claret jug. The original, the OG claret jug, the one that never leaves the clubhouse. The original Open Championship, along with the gold belt, the red belt that goes to the Open Championship winner every year. Well, the originals stay in the clubhouse. There's always a copy given to the winners. Beside it was also the Amateur Championship, one of the oldest competitions in the world in golf, the Women's Amateur Championship, and the AIG Women's Open trophies, all in just this random old cabinet in the R&A, or what seems like the R&A random old cabinet. But if you weren't a golfer, you would just be like, oh, there's some trophies. But since you're like, I'm a big golf fan, I knew what they were. They were coveted. And I've got a little bit of insight on that front because one of my close friends, or one of my oldest friends, I should say, Kieran, he works in the R&A Golf Museum. And I get to talk to him every now and again, and it's really interesting and insightful about the history aspect. And he is a curator there. He works in the museum, curates certain displays in the museum, and he coincidentally did a lecture very recently about war and conflict in St Andrews back in the Second World War and the conflict throughout the town / the golf course. And yeah, I went over to that and it was really insightful. So yeah, I'd heard that the clubhouse has the claret jug, and well, it's known mainstream wise that the original never leaves the clubhouse. So coinciding with that, I was in the clubhouse, and you're just going, this is nuts, because it's one of the most like exclusive places to go in golf in the world. Yeah, I'm in my Nike jacket and my jeans for Tesco, and I'm standing out that bay window looking out the first tee and just going, this is what I want to be. This is what I want to do. This is where I want to be. I want to be just standing here looking out at one of the best golf courses in the world that feels like home, and just be going, oh yeah, I'm going out in 30 minutes. And just the mundaneness of it, it normalized the potential enormity of the occasion for vast amount of golfers throughout this whole world. So park that. There's the dream. That's what I want. Coinciding with that, there's been a lot of golf news in the last week or so. Okay, I'm just referring to my notes. And it also is tied off with me looking at a couple of podcasts or watching them on YouTube. One about the no laying up guys. Now, if you're a golf content enthusiast, you'll know about the no laying up guys in golf from America. They do TV shows. They do the podcast. Well, I was listening to their most recent one about the Aussie Open, and I also listened to their one that they interviewed Justin Thomas and the debrief about the Ryder Cup. Now, I've had a conversation with a few of my friends. That was a softball interview. Please don't hate me, Justin. Please don't dislike us. Please come back on our interview again. How was the experience for you? And I don't know. The US are in a bit disarray after this European victory, which I'm very happy about, obviously. But it's like they're not getting to the core of the point, that they just don't care enough about winning this competition. But anyway, I was listening to that, and the fact that it was a bit of a softball, it made it feel like, oh, they're now part of the industry. They're part of the mainstream. They're now like pretty much a golf media company. And they go to all the big events. They get VIP. And then, well, this most recent one, they were doing a debrief about the Australian Open, or the Crown Australian Open, the Aussie Open at Royal Melbourne. Now, if you've watched one of my previous videos, I've talked about Royal Melbourne. It's one of my favorite golf courses in the world, and phenomenal golf course designed by Alistair Mackenzie in the late 1900s. And yeah, just to see Rory McIlroy, to see Cam Smith teeing it up at where I've golfed before, on the Southern Hemisphere, is by far the best golf course in the world. And yeah, it just looked phenomenal. So due to the time difference in the UK, there's been 10 hours difference. So as they've been going to tee off, it's been bang in the middle of the night. Like, first group coverage has started at 8 p.m. in the evening. And it's not the Masters, guys. I'm not staying up the whole night. But I've watched the YouTube highlights, the extended highlights the next day. I've seen the interviews. I watched the Rory one that was a bit spicy. I mean, Rory, let's be honest. You're wrong, bro. You're absolutely wrong in saying that Kingston Heath is the best in the Sandbelt. The only thing I can get on board with is that it's the best 18 holes golf course on the Sandbelt. The composite course at Royal Melbourne, which is used for the competitions, yes, I think is by far much better. But it's a composite. It's part of 2 of the East course. There's a few, I think there's about 6 holes of the East course and 12 holes of the West course at Royal Melbourne, because there's a few holes of the West later on. I think it's like 15th, 16th. No, it would be 14, 15, 16 on the West. They go across the road over the Cheltenham Road, and they don't want that. So they want it all in sort of, and the East course, there's like another 2 sections that they cross over. So for the professional competition, they want them all on the best holes, which is in the main paddock, which they call it. And it starts with a few of the East course and then goes on to the West course, and then it sort of continues on. Or sorry, I've got that the wrong way around. It starts on 1 West, 2 West, then it does 1 East, 2 East, and then it sort of filters around and goes in a mishmash. It ends up on the 6th and 7th of the West course, which becomes the 5th and 6th of the composite. And those are my 2 favourite holes I ever played down in Australia. Short par 3, and then the dogleg par 4, 6th. It's just like the TV cameras just didn't do it justice. I'll be brutally honest. Like, it just looked like the 6th, for example, just looked like a big fairway and then the green perched on the top of the hill. Like, didn't look that dramatic. But honestly, I can't explain that how good a design that golf hole is. That the drive goes down over some heathland onto a fairway that banks away from the hole, from the tee shot. So you're aiming down. So you sort of have to fade it in as a right-hander, which onto a draw lying or a downward lying fairway. That'll just boost it way down. But then it's all dependent on the pin position. If you want the pin on the far left, you want to be on the far right of this fairway to try and get into. So you need to try and have a heavy fade and hope it stays up on that right-hand side to be able to access the left pin. Or equally, if it's on the right, you probably want to as far down as possible. So a more straighter drive. But then you're on a lie similar to like the 13th at Augusta, where the ball is above you, so you're in a sort of draw tendency. But yet again, since it's up in the air and the greens are so firm, the ground is so firm and fast, you want to be able to put it up in the air and spin it or fade it in slightly to get a soft landing. But you're on a draw line. It's just, and it's only like 380 yards. Like, it's absolutely perfect. And just seeing these big guys, like seeing Rory, seeing Adam Scott, Minwoo Lee, Cam Smith, seeing these guys play it, I just brought back great memories, man. And yeah, like moving it back to Noah laying up, I was loving their enthusiasm oozing out of their episode about how much they love Royal Melbourne. And like the comparison that Rory had said, that Kingston Heath is his favourite over Royal Melbourne in the Sandbelt. And I agree with Solly and a few of the other boys that you're wrong there, Rory. The elevation changes, the vastness of the property, the greens complexes, the variety of holes, and the fact like Kingston Heath is very, very flat for the vast majority of the golf course. There's only bits towards certainly in the back nine. There's like the par 5, and then there's the par 3 up the hill. But apart from that, there's not that. It's a very walkable golf course. Well, both of them are, or all three of them, I should say, if you include East and West. But yeah, that composite course has just got bundles of character. And loved seeing it. And the thing was, it was only about 7,000 yards in total. So in the grand scheme of like PGA Tour competitions or competitions on the DP World Tour, it's not that long. And especially if it's firm and fast fairways, the ball's going, ball's moving. And one of the big things that I really enjoy about Alistair McKenzie designed golf courses, and you see it at Augusta for those golf fans. Alistair McKenzie designed Augusta. He also designed Royal Melbourne, and Cypress Point. One of the big things he has is very wide fairways. So, like, you're not penalized that much off the fairway, but off the tee, I should say. But it's there to sort of give you massive amounts of options, and in a way, could almost spoil or almost like cause a headache for your approach shot. It's very much a second shot golf course, Royal Melbourne, like Augusta. You get it down as far, but then and at the same time, you need to be thinking about where you're placing it in the fairway. So, yeah, listening to No Laying Up was loving their chats about how much praise that this thing should have, and also at the same time, like, it needs to be holding bigger competitions than just a President's Cup once every 10 years. And, well, this Aussie Open is the first Aussie Open in, was it 10 or 15 years, I heard, in the Sandbelt, which, like, the Sandbelt's one of the best areas for golf in the whole world. Like, you've probably got, obviously, the west coast of California, Monterey Peninsula. You've got Pinehurst, Sandhills. But that's one course will only ever get the big competition there, the US Open. Number 2, I mean, you've got the private clubs in New York, and then also you've got the links in the UK. But the amount of high quality golf, the Sandbelt has it in bundles. And yeah, so I was loving the oozing enthusiasm for it. I was loving the fact that they were wanting more people to go down to it in terms of big players. I was loving the fact that they even said, like, I wasn't interested in the breadth of the field. I was interested in seeing the big names, seeing how they coped with Royal Melbourne. And, well, evidently Rory had an upsy-turvy sort of week of it. And but he evidently enjoyed it. You could see it on his face that he had a wacky and wonderful week, and just experiencing high quality golf. Tiger, I remember seeing an interview of Tiger talking about Royal Melbourne, and him talking about when he was the captain of the President's Cup team in 2019, and he was saying that Royal Melbourne's the best of both worlds. You've got Augusta greens, firm and fast with very big undulations, and at the same time you've got the links fairways of St Andrews, and that is the perfect description of it. And add in some trees at the fairway, at the side of the fairways, That's that is Royal Melbourne for you. And like, there's always this talk about trying to get bigger competitions down there, but obviously there's the Live Tour, there's the PGA, the DP. There's the tour during our summer, the Northern Hemisphere summer, is so congested. And you would surely think at least they would give it, like, since this was week one slot of technically the new season, you'd surely give it just on its own. But no. The Nedbank in South Africa, which is like South Africa's or Africa's major competition, put the Nedbank on at the same time. And it was a reasonably decent field. Victor Hovland was down there, for example. But I just felt like it was disrespectful to the Aussie Open that it's back in the Sandbelt. It's at Royal Melbourne. It's at one of the best golf courses in the world. You've got only 7 out of the top 50 down there in the height of summer. Like, that golf course and that area of golf deserve much bigger competitions and much bigger names in golf going down there on a regular basis. And they need, like, there's always the sentiment of like the four majors, like the PGA should move down there or move around places. And it's like, if we've heard of news for the PGA America, they've got that big facility in Texas. Like, by the sounds of it, they're going the opposite way. They are going to keep the PGA championship in America. It's the wrong strategy, guys, but that's what they're doing. You know what I would love to see? I would love to see the Open Championship at Royal Melbourne. There, I have said it. Imagine taking the Open, the end of year, late November, or in December, like first week in December, like where it is at the moment, Royal Melbourne, composite course, just before Christmas, the end of season finale. That would be phenomenal. And like the way that things are going with some of the golf courses in the Open anyway, I'm going to keep diving in on this one. This is going to be so funny. The way that the things are like transpiring in the Open, like we're struggling to fit in venues because of the commercialization of the Open. Like, for example, Muirfield 2013, there was about 140,000 visitors over the week. There was a 280, so double, at Royal Portrush this year. And they're struggling to take it back to Muirfield because of constraints of the land, the practice facilities apparently not up to scratch, parking, transport routes to get there. There's literally only one route in, one route out, and that's the gate of Welcome to the Honourable Company of Edinburgh Golfers. Like, yeah, there's a few logistical issues to get to Muirfield. The golf course, phenomenal. No question is it capable of holding an Open. The issue is the infrastructure around it. And due to the numbers, it's doubled in size, the Open, in 12 years. Same with Turnberry. Turnberry had it in 2009. I mean, Mr. Trump's taken over, so there's obviously that political minefield right there. But the golf course, yet again, could easily host an Open. The infrastructure of getting there, the closest train station is like 25, 30 miles away, I think. And it's not even a major one. There's literally one road in to Turnberry. There's one road out of Turnberry. That's it. And it's in the middle of nowhere. It's the closest airport is like an hour and a half away. There's actually a runway at the golf course, but it's ripped up because it was used for the RAF in the World War II. I mean, Mr. Trump maybe should change that up and make it a Trump International Airport. That'd be hilarious. Maybe that's how he's going to get his Open. But, like, the Open's certainly going in one direction. It's going for cash. It's going for money. It needs big audiences, and the big excuse of not taking it back to these places yet so far has been because, we would lose money or we wouldn't make as much money as possible. So let's take the Open. It's in the name. take it to big places. I think it needs to stick with like links style or close to the sea. But imagine taking that over there. Royal Melbourne, firm, fast, late December. I mean, it's in one of the biggest cities or one of the major cities in the world. It's still got a connection because it's Alistair Mackenzie designed. Former colony. But that golf course, that area of golf is starved of high quality golf. And I understand like all the logistical, like all the PGA Tour guys are like, oh, it's so far away. Australia is far away, man. And like, oh, what about our family? What about jet lag? Yeah, I get all that. What about the viewing figures? Yeah, because it's not going to be in America time. I get all that. But surely we need to see the top players on the top golf courses. And down there, there's tons of good golf courses. And yeah. So, no laying up, boys. Soft interviews. But it got me thinking about this. And I'm already started it. Got me thinking about all these sort of professional content creators now or personalities or influencers, as you call them. We've got Rick Shields from the UK, ex-pro, does all his videos now with Liv. He sold his soul. Peter Finch, love him to bits, being honest. I used to not enjoy his content, but I'm really enjoying Peter's. Thank you very much. Peter, you'll probably never listen to me ever, so that's quite funny. Eric Anders Lang, yet again, used to love his podcast, used to love the fact that he was this cool hipster Californian dude, whereas actually now all it's just like, buy my merch, buy my thing. I even saw Iona Stephen. Iona, I love you to bits, girl, since you're from St Andrews and you fly the Scottish flag, but come on, girl, selling the Iona Stevens on the road gorse scented candle. I mean, maybe it's a guy thing, but that sounds tragic. But I feel like there's a gap in the market here. There's this mundaneness that needs to be an average golfer. And like the no laying up guys are average golfers. Like some of them are quite good, but they're not professional. The UK ones are professional or have been professional. It needs to be not completely hopeless, but a little bit and a little bit cocky themselves. And not American. We need to be somebody from the homeland, the home of golf. And basically what I was describing is myself. So I realized it's me. So this, on a more serious note, tying all of this stuff together, all right, with Royal Melbourne, which I've had a personal experience with, talking about what I want, talk about golf, talk about the RNA, talking about St Andrews, the Open. This is what I want to do. I know this sounds nuts, and it feels like I've overthought this for years, but I can literally talk about golf for vast lengths and not get bored. And I'm looking in a camera and going, it doesn't matter about anybody listening to this because this is just amusing me. So we're going to see how this week goes. I hope this is what are we in? We're 30 minutes in, and I'm feeling like this is just an introduction. Brilliant. Mr. Kelman, I hope you enjoy this episode. Welcome to the introduction. So, So, we've talked about all of that. We've talked about... Now, I want to talk about news in St Andrews this week. I don't know if you've seen it already. The Duke's course... Now, it's so funny. People that are not from Scotland will have no idea what the Duke's course is. Americans, no idea, because all they do is just go down and look at the old town, look at the old course. The Duke's course is owned by the Old Course Hotel. Now, it's probably like an hour, like 10 minutes outside of St Andrews. Actually, you know what? I could show you on Google Maps. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, sorry, you won't see, but if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm giving you a little bit of a intrigue into what I'm talking about. So, this St Andrews, there's the old course right there. Giving it a wee red tick. Boom. There's the RNA clubhouse right there. And Hamilton Grand, the Swilcan Bridge. Fantastic. Now, the Duke's course is up at a place called Craigton Country Park. And it was designed I think it opened in 1995. And originally was home to the SGU, which is the Scottish Golf Union. And then more latterly, the Old Course Hotel bought it over. Or I think it's probably been part of them for ages. The Old Course Hotel being the big hotel beside the 17th at the Old Course. And it was sort of part of them, and their guests could get around, and there's some stuff. It's a heathland golf course. Reasonable design. Very long. At the back tees, it's 7,500 yards, and there was a big sort of gaps between each holes. I've played it twice. It's pretty much a cart golf course. It would be a tough walk, that's for sure. Quite big inclinations in terms of topography. But yeah, nice enough golf course. Nothing outstanding. But the news this week is that it is being changed and rebranded. And it's been changed into the Craigton course. Pretty self-explanatory if you must know. But the more important thing that is happening is the St Andrews Links Trust, which runs 7 golf courses in the town, 6 beside the old 6, including the old course at the West Sands and the Castle course the other side. Well, this is the 8th one that's coming into their roster. They're leasing it from the Old Course Hotel on a long-term lease, and this is going to be their 8th course that they're managing. And it's going to be called the Craigton course. Now, this is in amongst this year of their rebrand, the St Andrews Links Trust. They've got these cool, or supposedly cool logos that have here's another one I'm going to show you. If I show you this, let's remove that. I'm going to share this screen. Now we're talking. Craigton course. So it's coming in January 2026. A renowned championship course originally designed by 5-time Open champion Peter Thompson and redesigned by Pete Dye. The Craigton course joins a world-class lineup at the home of golf. And there is some photos right there. And there is the logo right there. Oh, I haven't clicked through there. Perfect. My apologies. Looks like this on their website. Hilltop overlooking St Andrews. Craigton course offers a unique heathland experience at the home of golf. So they're taking over after all the winter holidays. So I think it's the 5th of January they're taking it over. Craigton course. And there's the logo now. Look at that. So it's got 4 little trees. Now, I'm going to see if I can get a little bigger video or a bigger look at that. There we go. Now, you can see that there's little cuts in between the T, the C, and the U. Are supposed to imitate the Swilcan Bridge since it's part of St Andrews Links Trust. And then we've got these sort of squiggly 4 trees. I mean, it's better, and let's be honest, it's better than being represented by Prince Andrew, the Duke. That's who opened it, who then became captain of the RNA. Let's forget about that one, guys. My apologies. But let's bring it back to present day. That's supposed to imitate the Swilcan Bridge. Now, the logo is okay. Okay? It's a vast improvement in what was there. And as a whole, the St Andrews Links logos are an improvement on the vast majority of logos in Scotland. I was thinking about this recently. The logo, we've got good golf courses here, okay? Let's see if I can find the new course one. There's the old course one with the Swilcan Bridge. The Balgove. Ooh, it's got a little old, what's it called? Clamp? I can't remember what it's called. The Jubilee looks like a chess piece. I like that. It's quite cool. The Eden. Old dove. Love that. Love that. Or a little bird. Castle, obviously, because of the castle. The Strathtyrum, nice little tree there. And then we're back to the Battle Grove. And the new course, where's the new course one? It's supposed to be like a little flat cap. Let's see if we go back to it. And then if I click on old, we'll find it. And then we'll go down to the bottom. There we go. The new course. Yeah, a little flat cap. Supposed to be like old Tom Morris's. So, logos. Yeah, logo game in Scotland. We've got great golf courses. I'm very thankful I was brought up in golf. I'm very thankful that we had good golf courses that are reasonably priced. I'm very thankful that we've got basic, decent, like summer weather with long days so we can go golfing when you're a junior late at night. I am very thankful it's a safe place. I'm very thankful that we've got Parkland, we've got Heathland, we've got the best links in the world, and we've got very good of all three in our country of the United Kingdom, and more specifically Scotland. But if I had one gripe, is the logo game. We are stuck in the dark ages, folks. It's all about golf shields, and it usually has like MGC or CGC or AGC. Okay? And it's the initials. And we all know that the G and C is golf club. We all know that, guys. All right? But on the little chest, we've got the little AGC or DGC. And the thing is, there's tons of AGCs in Scotland. There's tons of DGGs in Scotland. So you never know which one that you're actually wearing unless you're like right up in the face looking at this crest or looking at it on the golf ball. We all know the initials of the place that we're playing, but do we have a decent logo? Now that's the thing. Now, American golf, guys, any of my American listeners or viewers that are watching this, you guys, I don't understand your golf. All right, there's thousands of pounds to go and play something maybe 4 times a year. I don't get. Okay, and nobody's allowed in. Yeah, you want golf to be accessible. Yeah, like what on earth, right? You don't. I don't understand Americans. Let's be honest, but we love you. We love you for it. But I know as a Scotsman, we need to up our game in the logo sphere, the logo game. But I want to praise some of the good logos that we have in our golf. Okay. And I am going to share the first one. Now, I've done a little top 10. Love a top 10. Top 10 logos in Scotland in no particular order. And you know what? I might have missed some. All right. But I've done a little scouring through. And by far, my favorite one is Panmure Golf Club. And we should have it here. And it's a shell. Look at that. Isn't that outstanding? Very simple. Very old golf club. On it, beside Carnoustie. Very famous for Ben Hogan creating his bunker, chipping in, was it 1950 something or a 53 Open at Carnoustie? Ben Hogan came once and conquered it and then left. And he did all his practicing at Panmure. And their logo of a shell is outstanding. There it is in the white. You can either get in all your golf balls and stuff. I just think that is one of the best. Think of Winged Foot. Think of Shinnecock. Think of the little tree in Pebble Beach. Yes, Panmure Golf Club. Thank you. Nairn members. Now, I know that it sort of not became the Nairn members because the Americans were loving it so much with the Shepherd's Crook and just the numbers. It was members only, and then it got to COVID. Then they realized that they need to sell all of it, and all the Americans came back. You guys, and you loved it, and I love it. Yeah, it's outstanding. Next one. Skibo. The Osprey at Skibo. I think it's an Osprey, or is it an eagle? Could be an eagle. And the fish underneath. Now, the castle part, I've sort of cropped out part of that bit. The castle is part of the Carnegie Club, Andrew Carnegie at Skibo Castle. That is Skibo Castle. He created that paradise, or heaven on earth, as he called it, as his sort of retirement home, or his Highland retreat when he came back to Scotland. But the golf course, the Carnegie Links course, their logo is the bird and the fish only. And I think that's outstanding. Clear cut. Nobody knows who it. If you're not a golfer, you have no idea who it is. But if you've golfed at Skibo, boom. Yes, I know you've done that. Well done. So, yeah, outstanding logo. Just saying, I've got it on a flask. Right, moving on. Loch Lomond. Haven't played this one. Loch Lomond Golf Club. Yeah, again, outstanding. Just a stag on its side with its red stag, blue antlers, Loch Lomond Golf Club. Fantastic right there. Now we're moving north. Just a little puffin. Durness Golf Club. You've probably not heard of it. Durness is the most northerly golf club, or is it northwesterly golf club on the mainland in UK? Far northwest of the mainland, a little village called Durness. It's a 9-hole golf course. Some of the best views that you will ever see in golf. Some of the windiest places that you'll ever feel in golf is at Durness. But yeah, it's only a little 9-holer. Probably one guy that does the greenkeeping with one more once a week or something like that. But that logo, just a little puffin, some grass, outstanding. And yeah, again, if you've seen that before, you'd be like, yes, well done. I know you're a golf fanatic if you've been there. I think this is maybe one of the best logos in golf, full stop, this next one. Spey Bay. Spey Bay up on the Murray coast, so closest to between Nairn and Aberdeen, basically. So Spey Side is where you get the really good whiskey. Whiskey barrel on the logo. Outstanding. And in the year it was formed with a little bird on top of that. All very animal orientated or bird orientated are the good ones of our flags. Dornoch members one, it's the wildcat with the crown for the royal patronage. I do like that. I do very much like that. And I've seen it on the Royal Dornoch members jumpers. That's very, nobody knows what that is. But if you look at the shield as a whole, it's that animal in the middle of the shield of their one. And they're got big news this week, opening up their clubhouse. And then moving on, Haddington Golf Club. Never heard of them. Never heard of what their golf course is like, but I searched it up. Look at this one. Little goat with a tree. Haddington Golf Club. They've actually got a second one. It's a very old golf club, 1865. It's on the outskirts of Edinburgh. And they've also got one with a massive pillars on it. I haven't done much research on that one, but outstanding logo both ways. Okay, both making to the top 10. Brora, yeah, again, another one in the Highlands. Very good. Seagull with what looks like some testicles, but well, on the side note, it's their feet. Very simple, very effective. Another bird-related one, and actually, I think this might be the best bird-related one that we have in Scotland. Machrihanish. Look at that. I don't even know what bird that is. I probably should have done that before pressing record on this. But the fact that it's got one leg up, because if it had both down, it would just look like one leg. It wouldn't have worked as much. The fact it's got one leg up, fantastic. You could just have that without all the Machrihanish Golf Club. You could have that at 1876. You know exactly. You could be in the middle of New York, Melbourne, Sydney, Singapore. Wearing that, if you had a big golf fan, you'd be like, yes, I know where you've been. You're a golf guy. Love it. So, other honourable mentions I've got here in my script. Glen Eagles, obviously with the eagle. Machrihanish Dunes, they've got the black sheep. If you want to look at that one on the west coast in the Mullican Tire. But yeah, logo game, these are the best. The vast majority of our ones are shields or football style crests. and then they've got all these logos on it. I mean, we need to get beyond that, guys. We need rebrands in Scotland to bring them through. Now, thinking about more stuff moving forward, I feel like I could talk about memberships in Scotland. I can feel like I could talk about golf, and I don't know. It comes probably from back to this course that I've been doing and thinking into results. And it comes back to like, what do you believe could happen? Well, I definitely know I'm good enough to talk about golf because I've golfed at some of these golf courses for fun. I also know I've probably off 5 or 6, so I'm reasonably good to know bits and bobs about golf. I don't know the fine details yet, but would be willing to learn. The big fear on stuff to talk about is the stuff that you don't feel qualified to talk about. Now, I don't know if I'm just going to continue talking about golf, or maybe I'll get at some point, if I start to believe I can talk about something bigger or different, I should say. Don't want to offend the golf community. Then I might talk about that. But in this moment in time, I know for fun, I can talk about golf. I could talk about the best 9 holes. Oh, that might actually be the next one, actually. Ooh. Everybody talks about the best 9, front 9 in links golf is Royal Aberdeen. Agreed. What is the best back 9 in golf? Now, it has to be 9 holes. It has to be 10 through 18. Oh, God, that is a good for research for another episode. I could talk about, I could talk about anything. Tiger. I saw one recently about Tiger talking about where his kids going to university or going to college. Tiger, bro, I know you're listening to this. Tiger, I know you went to Stanford. I know you're probably going to want to get him to one of those other university big stuff, all right? Crash, bang, wallop. But the big thing that is a worry, okay, you probably are aware, is like Charlie, for where your son go university, you're probably worried that he's going to get invaded by all publicists and the media and the press. Wouldn't it be a great idea, okay, if you put him into a different country, right, away from the limelight? And what would be better is if you took him to a really good golf course. And more specifically, I think you should be taking him to Stirling University. Put Charlie Woods on the golf program at Stirling Uni. He'll play some of the best golf courses in the world. He'll be out of the limelight, away from the American press. You can come over, buy a house in St Andrews, live up the high life, supporting your son. We can go out and play 9 holes. Fantastic, mate. There's one right there. Okay, I could talk about even little tiny things about golf. And so there's the next episode next week. We're going to talk about what is the best back 9 in golf. If you've loved this episode or if you've hated this episode, leave something in the comments below or where else you get your podcasting platforms that you use. And let me know. Let me know if I've missed out some of the good logos. I'm not too sure if I've missed any of them, but if your golf club has a logo that you think should be in the top 10, give us a shout. Ultimately, if you want to cast shade on some other logos that are horrific, also comment in the logos comments below about which golf club has terrible logos. But for now, folks, we are 50 minutes in. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. Hope you've enjoyed my content about golf this week, and we will see you next time. Cheers.